Dr. John Kaye.
Thank you, Mr President. Mr President, I rise in support of Mr Shoebridge's amendment to this motion. And can I say that from the outset, I don't seek to in any way interfere or minimise the warm regards that members of this Parliament and indeed members of the community hold for Queen Elizabeth or her husband or her family. That's clearly something that is felt very strongly in this chamber. But I do direct the members' attention to, we assure Your Majesty of our loyalty. That statement is ambiguous as it is written, loyalty to whom and to what. So what Mr Shoebridge is seeking to do is to remove that ambiguity by making it clear that that loyalty is a loyalty to Australia and to the people of New South Wales. And it would be good if Her Majesty and indeed everybody else around Australia and around the world were aware of that loyalty. Can I say also that if the intention of this, the intention of the motion is to assure Elizabeth Windsor of our loyalty to her and her institution, then I could not vote for this motion, because I do not feel loyalty to the Queen, I do not feel loyalty to the Queen, to the institution, without seeking to in any way pass aspersions on her personally. It is not a... Well, I'm not doing that. That's inaccurate.
Order.
That's inaccurate
Order.
to say that I'm... And I object to that. I'm not passing aspersions on Elizabeth Windsor or her family, and I don't seek to minimise the regards that people in this chamber feel for her. But what I do feel is that, what I do know is that my party, our MPs in this Parliament and a large number of Australians are not loyal to the concept of a foreign monarch and do not see why we still have a foreign monarch. Not just because of the origins of that monarch, the origins in elitism, in a class structure that is entirely alien to an egalitarian society, and in a society that was built in a monarchy that was forged in repression, a monarchy that was forged out of autocracy, and admittedly it has evolved into democracy, but also because it is time Australia grew up and had its own head of state. It's well past that time. I heard a lot of members here talking about their interactions with the Queen when they were young. I remember a visit in the 60s that I was quite excited about. But then I was only 7 or 6 years old at the time, and as one grows up, I think one loses one's affections for, or one ought to lose one's affections for the idea of a foreign monarch and recognise that as a sovereign nation we should have our own head of state chosen by Australians for Australians. I also have fundamental objections to hereditary offices. They might have worked well in an evolutionary sense in the 13th and 14th centuries to create a sense of stability in Northern Europe, but surely we have moved beyond the idea of hereditary as a way of choosing heads of state. Surely we've moved to the stage of democracy where the head of state should be democratically chosen and should represent the people over whom that person holds headship. In our case, Australia. In our case, it should be an Australian.